Welcome aboard Just Jets with your captain, Matt O'Leary. Buckle up and enjoy the ride.
Hello and welcome to episode number 43 of Just Jets. What's going on? I am Matt O'Leary, here to talk some New York Jets football with you. And boy, do we have a lot to get into, from Gregg Williams to the game itself to this upcoming week and voicemails. Oh, do we have a ton of voicemails to get to. But before all that, I wanted to talk to you about MANSCAPED, our sponsor for this here podcast at Just Jets. If you are looking for the ultimate stocking stuffer, look no further than MANSCAPED. They have such good quality products over there. You can get yourself the Crop Preserver Ball Deodorant. That's something great that can toss in the stocking as a stocking stuffer. We love that. The Crop Reviver Ball Toner, Crop Cleanser Body Wash. The list goes on and on. So check it out at manscaped.com. You could use my promo code JETS20 for 20% off and free shipping. Also, if you're interested, you could check out the Lawnmower 3.0 and the Weed Whacker as well. Get 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com with my promo code JETS20. All right, let's get into it because we have a ton to get into this week. As I said, it's going to be voicemail heavy. If I don't get to your voicemail, I apologize. There was a ton to listen to. I listened to hours worth of voicemails, so much voicemails. But let's talk about the Gregg Williams fallout. So obviously that's going to be our big story of the day. We know that he got fired after making an egregious call. I've said it time and time again on social media. I said it in my video the day after when I talked about Marcus May's reaction. It was the wrong decision for Gregg Williams to send the house like he did, but it was not done with the intent to tank. Gregg Williams, I can't express this enough. The man is blitz crazy. He loves it. And in other situations similar, not exactly the same, but very similar, he has run cover zero or blitzed like crazy and sent 8 after the quarterback. I was not surprised to see him do that. I was literally like jaw drop. That was my reaction. Everyone's been asking, did you go nuts? Did you scream? No, my jaw was just dropped, and I can't believe that just happened. What is happening? Because the Jets were inches away from getting their first win of the year, which would have them picking second in the draft at this moment. Instead, Gregg Williams goes, you know what? I'm going to go all out blitz here and put my undrafted free agent rookie on a island. That did not go well. And you know what? He got fired. And I don't necessarily blame the Jets for deciding to move on, because I think the locker room was divided on what they thought of Gregg Williams. It seems like the defensive linemen really, really like Gregg Williams. And I understand it. Some people are going to like what Gregg Williams does, but the secondary and the linebackers who are running around like crazy in his defense, I don't necessarily know how much they love Gregg Williams, and I understand that. It's a personal preference thing, but to me, Marcus May coming out and saying what he did after the game and coming to the defense of Lamar Jackson told you everything you need to know. Marcus May is a captain on this team. He's someone who I fully expect to be brought back for next year and to be a captain going forward. And he is going to be here longer than Gregg Williams, obviously, because Gregg Williams is gone. But this doesn't matter because Williams was going to be fired at the end of the season in 4 games anyway. So what's the difference if they get him, an early flight out to wherever he's going to go now at this point? But I also want to say this, and I know it's going to come up in the questions later. I don't think that Adam Gase deciding to move on from Gregg Williams has any indication that he is going to come back next year, because I think it's just something that everyone agreed on was something that had to change due to the locker room's reaction afterwards. And it doesn't matter because, like I said, these guys are going to be gone on January 4th. The whole staff is going to be gone on January 4th. So they're just going through the motions for the next 4 games. Could they have stuck it out with Gregg? Maybe. I don't know. I'm not in the locker room, but it speaks volumes that Marcus May was coming out here and was so vocal about everything in the way that he called it. And it was the wrong call. It was, but it wasn't done purposely to tank. That's just ridiculous. Some other notes from the Jets and Raiders game. Overall, I continue to like to see what I see out of Quinn and Williams, and the interior defensive line continues to get pressure after the quarterback, which is awesome. But I want to say this lightly, I guess, or respectfully. because Frank Gore got hurt in this game, and I am obviously wishing Frank Gore a speedy recovery. I hope that he recovers. I don't want to see anyone injured. With him being out, it did open a door for Adams and Ty Johnson, which I'm not going to lie to you, I was excited to see because they were explosive. That was the Jets' best rushing attack on the season by far. And it's with guys who were brought in here as the 4th and 5th running back on the roster for the start of this year. Like, think about it. There was Le'Veon, Gore, Pirine, and then the Ty Johnsons and the Josh Adams of the world. And now, right, they're the lead backs, and it worked against the Raiders. And the Raiders don't have a great run defense, so do I expect that to continue long-term? Probably not. I don't think they're going to combine for, 170 yards rushing or something crazy. But I did like to see the young guys. There, Adams is 24, Johnson's around the same age, and, I would much rather see that on a 0-12 team than a 37-year-old Frank Gore. Same conversations we were having about Joe Flacco, and we've had this conversation before with, running Gore out there and Flacco out there in a lost season. I completely understand it, why I've had to have this conversation, because it feels pointless. It feels like you're just going through the motions, but to me, that was the big thing. And lastly, for the Raiders and Jets game, this was probably Darnold's best game, but I don't think he played well either. The 3 turnovers is scary. The interception was bad, and I know a lot of people will say, well, how is he supposed to see the blindside guy coming in? Well, I think this just points to the bigger issue, is that his pocket awareness has gone completely out the window, and his footwork has gone completely out the window. I just think that we're seeing a scared quarterback, and a quarterback who doesn't feel comfortable, and 2 lost fumbles and an interception is the result of that. And I think that's going to continue to happen down the stretch, which really stinks because I was high on Sam Darnold. A lot of people were, but it's not looking good. I think he's got to go somewhere else. As for some thoughts on Jets Seahawks coming up this week, more to come in my preview video, but I don't have much hope for the Jets to win this game going on the road. Not that I'm necessarily rooting for them to win this game either, but the Jets are going on the road to Seattle. Tough place to play under normal circumstances. Obviously, these aren't normal circumstances, but you're going to have a motivated Jamal Adams running around like crazy on that defense, and I understand the defense hasn't been great, but they're coming off a bad loss to the Giants. They are, very much fighting for it. They're in a playoff spot right now, but they are very much so fighting for the division. So this is a motivated team. This team still has a lot to play for. And Russell Wilson is going to do dirty things to this Jets secondary. I think this is going to be a blowout. I think we're looking at a 30-10 game with the Seahawks winning by 20 plus points. I think this could be really, really ugly. I really do. This one's going to be ugly. The Rams game's going to be ugly. Browns, I think the Browns should be able to handle the Jets pretty well. Week 17, maybe that's a different story. And ironically, that's our first question. So let's get to those voicemails. I know it was a little bit of a short monologue in the beginning here, but a ton of questions to get to. Let's jump into it. All right, let's get to JB from Colorado, who wants to talk about Week 17 and the Patriots and why it scares him.
Yo, Matt, it's JB. I'm calling in from Colorado. First-time caller.
Welcome.
Long-time listener. I love your videos.
Thank you.
There's been something on my mind. You might have seen it in the comment section. I'm really, really worried about going into Week 17. I really don't see the Jaguars winning another game or seeing the Jets winning another game. However, I'm really worried about going into Week 17 0-15 and Bill Belichick playing chess instead of checkers and throwing the game and costing the Jets Trevor Lawrence with the first pick. Especially if they're already eliminated from playoff contention. I just see the bigger win for the Patriots with a loss. I was just wondering if you thought the same thing, what your opinion is. Do you think Bill Belichick would do that? So hopefully I hear your answer. Thanks, man. Keep on keeping on, and go Jets.
Thank you for checking in with me, JB. Really appreciate it. Welcome aboard. I'm not super worried about it. The Pats are loosely alive in the playoff mix. They have a couple of tough games coming up here. They got the Rams, then they got the Dolphins, Bills, and then they close out the season with the Jets. Could potentially be alive in a playoff fight, but even so, I really don't have any confidence in Adam Gase. I don't. It's going to be the scariest one. I don't disagree with you that it was scary the last time, and it's probably going to be even more so in Week 17, but I have another hot take for you. Maybe not super hot take, but I know JB doesn't agree. I really believe that Jacksonville beats the Bears in Week 16, so I don't think it's going to matter. I think the Jets go into the New England game 0-15. The Jaguars already have 2 wins, and then whatever happens, happens. But I still got my money on the Jets going 0-16. Thank you, JB, for checking in. Next, we're going to go to Mike in New Jersey with some reaction to that crazy game.
Hey, Matt, this is Mike from Phillipsburg, New Jersey. I just finished watching the Raiders-Jets game, and I can't believe what I just saw. Unbelievable. Now, I'm all in on the tank, so I want the Jets to get the first overall pick,
Right,
and have their choice of whoever they're going to pick and get whoever they can get. But here's my problem. If Adam Gase and Gregg Williams are in on the tank, then they did what they had to do, and they hope the Jets lose the game and help the Jets keep going what they need to do as far as lose games and get that first overall pick. My problem is if Adam Gase and Gregg Williams are not in on the tank and they're actually trying to coach and win games, and they have cover zero on those last plays, and they let people get behind them, and they're not lining up people along the 20-yard line to prevent anybody from getting behind those defensive backs, then they can't even be allowed to get back on the Jets sideline again next week, because that is just downright pitiful. I mean, that is just crazy what I just saw. Let me know what you think. Thanks.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for checking in, Mike. I think we got our answer with Gregg Williams getting kicked out the door. I don't, and again, I really don't think that was on purpose. I think that's by design. He is someone who lives and dies by his blitzes. He loves it. Man lives for cover zero. I wish someone loved me as much as Gregg Williams loves cover zero. With that being said, I really am not concerned at all about Adam Gase coming back next year. I'm not. It's gonna be over on January 4th. There's just no way. There's no way. I know that some are concerned that he's in Christopher Johnson's ear and then he made this decision. All just background noise. I'm really not worried about Adam Gase returning. It's not going to happen. Next up is Phil in Brooklyn, wants to get into some reaction as well.
Hey, Matt, it's Phil from Brooklyn, New York. How you doing, man? Wow. The Jets lost in
Unreal.
They lost in Jets fashion. Yeah, I mean, what? What? Man to man, I think it was. Maybe was it even like a blitz with 6 seconds left? Who does that? You gotta send the men back. I think in that situation, make sure just hold them from a play and make sure they don't get in the end zone. But Gregg Williams, I don't know what that was. But hey, we lost. Trevor Lawrence is still in our hold. I thought our running backs looked very good this game. I think running it to the left side behind Mekhi Becton is a very good idea. I think Mekhi Becton had trouble, in my opinion, today. Specifically on pass plays, I think he had trouble. Darnold, horrible day for Darnold, in my opinion. I think he just did not play well. He had a horrible interception to Rashad Perryman. I don't know what his idea was there. And then he had fumbles. Matt, personally, I think that game was a bit strange. I don't know how the Raiders let us be in that game. I think They definitely should have won that by a little bit more.
Yep.
But that game was crazy. I wasn't able to watch all of it, so I don't know like how bad it was or how close it was. I was just watching the last couple minutes of the fourth quarter at the end and a little bit of the first. So, I mean, Mims looked good. I mean, I think from what I saw, he got the 2-point conversion. I don't know if anything else bad happened. I need to watch the highlights, but I don't know, man. I thought the Jags were going to win. They didn't. Sucked. But let me know. Like, it's so like I don't know. It really does feel like we are tanking. It does. I mean, I don't know what play call that was. I think our offense looks much better, though. I think it did. I think Darnold had a really, really rough week. But if he didn't have those turnovers, I think it would have been. I think this game we would have our first win. But let me know what you think. And 4 more games.
4 more.
4 more games. And stay safe and go Jets.
Thank you. You too, Phil. As always, thank you for checking in. Not a whole lot to add there. You hit a lot on the head. I don't believe I never believe that players or coaches are actively quote unquote tanking. They are trying to win in between the white lines. What's going on in the fans' minds or from how the roster is constructed, completely different story. But yeah, it's shocking that Gregg Williams would run a cover 0 in that situation. It's just how a defensive coordinator could think like that, I don't know, but this is the world we're living in, I guess. But as you said, 4 more weeks, and then hopefully, fingers crossed, we can start talking about real things. Because I think people think that I want to be negative about the Jets. I don't. I want to be positive. I want to have a lot of good things to talk about. Could you imagine how much fun this show would be if we were actually breaking down, like, big moments in this past week and people were calling in like, well, in this situation on 4th down, I think the Jets should have ran XYZ instead of doing this and maybe it would have worked out better. That would be fun if we're breaking down games. Right now it's all storylines and it's going to be that way for a while, but we'll see. Next up is Liam in Manhattan, wants to talk 2021 draft.
Hey Matt, it's Liam from Manhattan again. So yeah, I'm calling today to ask you about a potential player to draft the second first-round pick in this upcoming 2021 NFL draft. So, knowing Joe Douglas from this past draft, I know he's going to want to attack that offensive line and once again, and get some more fatties up front to protect our future quarterback, whoever that may be, whether it be Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields, Sam Darnold, even though I don't think it's going to happen. So, I was thinking of the right tackle from the University of Michigan, Jalen Mayfield.
Ooh.
So he's projected to be a late first to early second-round pick right now, but he could easily be a building block for this offensive line. Now, funnily enough, I actually got to meet this guy on the Michigan campus.
Ooh.
Because my good friend from high school goes to the University of Michigan and is in one of his classes, and he told me that he's actually a very smart individual, so that's a plus for him. So I don't know if you know anything about this guy, or if you prefer any other offensive lineman, or if you even want to attack right tackle in the draft. But anyway, thanks so much for getting to my call, and go
Sure.
Jags, baby. Let's go.
Let's go Jags. Thank you for checking in. Interesting. So I think he's someone who definitely could go in the first round, either towards the late first round or in the early second round. So pinning him with that Seattle pick is probably a fair evaluation of the kind of player he is for where he can go. I personally don't think I would go right tackle that early. That's not, again, nothing against his prospect. I think he's good. He's big and athletic. I would rather go on the interior, though. If Wyatt Davis is there, I am making that pick. If not, then maybe I'm going edge or corner. Those are other big positions of need. I think they bring back Fant for next year, and maybe they look for a long-term answer after that. But I don't necessarily think that they're going to look to add a right tackle that early. I would rather them look for the interior offensive line at that point in the draft. But thank you for checking in. Let's get to Mike in Bayshore. He wants to talk about Cowher. We're going to get into a lot of Bill Cowher talk in this voicemail, so let's get into it.
This is Mike from Bayshore. Matt, absolutely love the show. Hopefully I get this question in, but there's a rumor starting, and it's picking up some steam. Bill Cowher coming to the Jets. What's your opinion on that?
Thank you for calling in. It's I don't know how likely this is to happen. I want to preface that because I mean he is older at 64 years old. He does have a really nice cushy job, and he hasn't been in the league coaching in 15 years. Now, you want to use Dick Vermeil as an example of a coach who left for a long time, came back, had success. You want to use John Gruden now, or even Joe Gibbs. That's fine. This is not my number one choice, but I don't think it would be a bad choice either. I'm kind of, I guess, towards the middle here. I think if you're going to do it, you have to bring in a young, forward-thinking offensive coordinator, because my concern with Cowher is that he does not throw the ball. He does not. In 2004 and 5, with Ben Roethlisberger as a rookie and in his second year, they were 32nd in the league in passing attempts. Now that jumped up in Roethlisberger's third year in 2006. And then, as we know, the league really changed in the 2010s. But I think if he is going to come back, he's going to have to adjust what he wants to do offensively a little bit. I don't think he can win the ground and pound smash mouth football. But I do like that he would bring he'd be a well-respected voice, a well-respected coach, and brings a presence that the Jets have been lacking for a long time. So I'm not against it. I'm not my top priority. It's not my top priority either, but it is an interesting one. And if you're going to do a retread, that's probably the best retread option. So thank you, Mike, for checking in. Let's go to Ben, who's got some questions about, a reaction, and then wants to talk Dan Quinn.
Hey, Matt, it's Ben from Jersey. Oh, God, another week, another game that the Jets could blow the tank, but ultimately they didn't. And this is probably the most fun game of the year. I said that about the Patriots
Probably.
before, but this was definitely it. I feel like this is definitely best case scenario. Sam Darnold played his best game all year. The running backs, Ty Johnson and Josh Adams, showed that they could start. I still think we should take a running back in the draft, but they've showed some potential. Crowder had 2 scores. May played very well. That breakup on Aguilar where he clearly got beat, but his closing speed was able to break up the pass. That was something else. It was a fun game for fans to watch, and ultimately we still ended up having the tank. It would have been nice if the Jags also won, but, the Jags are going to jag. We're still in the driver's seat for that first pick. That's all that matters. Anyway, for the question. So, obviously, we know that Gregg Williams got fired for that probably the worst defensive play call I've seen in my entire football watching. So, who do you think that the Jets should hire to be the next defensive coordinator?
Oh, that's why I wrote that.
I personally love Dan Quinn. He was great in Seattle. He led that Seattle defense to be the Legion of Boom. They shut down Peyton Manning, who had the best season a quarterback ever had in the Super Bowl.
Yep.
Held him to only 250 passing yards, 1 touchdown, and he also threw 2 picks. Dan Quinn is definitely a better DC than a head coach, so I think that they should definitely hire him as the next defensive coordinator. I just want to know who you think should be the next defensive coordinator. As always, go Jets.
Thank you. I agree. I like Dan Quinn a lot. Now, some people are going to say, well, he runs a 4-3. Well, hold on. Let's pump the brakes. You can run multiple sets in today's NFL. You don't have to be locked into your base defense. So I'm not 100% concerned about that. I do like Quinn, and it depends on what coach gets brought in here too. But I know Wade Phillips is old, but if he wants to come back for a couple more years, I thought he did a really good job with Sean McVay. Chris Richard from the Cowboys has a positional coach there. He's not the DC technically. If he would like to come and do that, I think he's probably holding out for a head coaching job. But I think Quinn is the big name on the market, and I definitely would not be opposed to bringing him in. I think he's really good. I agree 100%. He was able to do a lot in Seattle. Granted, he had a good personnel, but I would definitely look to bring him back because he does have head coaching experience too, which is a good thing. But I don't like him as a head coach. But him just having that experience, adding another voice in the room, I don't think it's a bad thing. So thank you very much, Ben. Let's go to Bobby in California, wants to talk about Darnold.
Hey, what's up, man? It's Bobby from California. I was just going to talk about Sam Darnold's performance and what I'm seeing in the O-line. I mean, I'm seeing a lot of Jets fans kind of panning to his performance, and he looked bad and stuff. I mean, because of the 3 turnovers and everything. I would say that the interception was pretty bad. I think he definitely could have led Perrin to the outside, and he had Crowder like wide open for the first down. I think that wasn't great, but as far as the 2 fumbles go, I mean, I don't really see too many quarterbacks in the league really doing anything with that. With Becton getting whipped that bad off the edge. I mean, coming from the blind side and everything, I don't really put it on him. And it was good. It was really refreshing to see the running game actually do something. I mean, when you only have to pass for like, I don't know, what was it, 24 times in the whole game? That's a good thing. But I don't know. I thought it looked okay. But I would say number 2, though, oh, my gosh, Pat Elfin on the O-line is a huge upgrade. I mean, I was seeing him, stick on his blocks a lot longer. Him and Becton were getting the push, and they were just running that left side all day. I think that's pretty exciting. We should potentially look into keeping him. Anyways, that's what I saw in the game. A little disappointed, but glad we're still in the running for the number 1 pick, and go Jets.
Absolutely. I think that's the end game here, is just make sure you get that number 1 pick, right? Okay, a couple of things with Darnold. My rebuttal to the offensive line statement would be that he has lost his feel for the pocket in his 3rd year. And that's not the only example where that's happened. He's skittish. He's playing like a quarterback who's been damaged. And at that point, I think you have to, or when you're in the Jets position with the generational prospects staring you in the face, you have to take it. It's too easy not to. And I know you're not necessarily saying that they should keep Darnold over Trevor Lawrence, but I think Darnold was at best okay. I don't think it was anything that should be super praised. I thought he was okay. Let's see what happens over the next 4 games. It sucks. It really sucks because I really thought Darnold was going to be the guy here. I liked him coming out. I liked him in his 1st and 2nd year, and I was high on him going into year 3. But this year, the wheels just completely fell off. Could not have fallen off any worse than what they have. So he'll get a kick, another kick at the can somewhere else. But unfortunately, it's not going to be here with the Jets. Next up, we're gonna go to Oren in New York, who wants to talk about Gregg Williams.
Hey, Matt. This is Oren from New York. Love your show, man.
Thank you.
Watch a lot of different people, and honestly, you're one of the best podcasts out there for Jets Nation, so really appreciate what you do.
Thank you.
And thanks for all the videos. It's definitely helping during COVID time for sure. I just also wanted to say that I just saw your recent video, and I agree with everything you're saying. I really do not understand how there are people out there that think Gregg Williams threw this game on purpose. It makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. For a guy who's not going to be here in a month's time, he knows that he's not trying to lose on purpose. That doesn't benefit him whatsoever. And it's just crazy that there are actually people that believe that. My question being, I have 2 questions actually. My first question is related to the firing of Gregg Williams. I agree with you that the coaches and the players are not trying to tank on purpose. It would make absolutely no sense. They're fighting for their jobs. They're fighting for future jobs. But I can't be convinced that upper management is not trying to tank on purpose at this point. I feel, they're businessmen, and at this point they are trying to cut their losses, and their best case scenario is getting that number 1 pick and drafting Trevor Lawrence. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm not sure, that it's Adam Gase that fires people. I thought that it's upper management, to my understanding. So why would they fire somebody who gives them the best chance to lose? I believe that the tandem of Gregg Williams and Adam Gase give them the best chance to lose. And I just, I think yesterday is a perfect example as to why. And my second question is unrelated, but I just was wondering if you can kind of go over the middle linebacker core.
Ooh, okay.
For next year. I know we have C.J. Mosley, but I was wondering if you can maybe talk about who is potentially available in the open market and free agency, maybe if we would possibly draft somebody, and about retaining C.J. Mosley. I think he's only on like a $7 million deal next year. We only have to pay him $7 million, so I feel like we should retain him. But if you can go over something like that, that'd be great. Thank you.
Oh, you got cut off at the end, but much appreciated. Okay, so let's start with the Gregg Williams thing and why Adam Gase gets to make that call. I guess I'll rephrase. I think it was a community effort, but Gase reports to the owner, and the general manager also reports to the owner. So it's it's a triangle instead of a straight line going up. And the coach has say over his staff. He does. So it is his call. I understand why some might find it fishy if he's going to be heading out the door, but they're both, worst case scenario, they're both going to be gone on Black Monday anyway. So it's not really too big of a deal one way or the other. I'm not personally getting too worked up over it. I think they'll be able to get through the rest of the season with Frank Bush the rest of the way. And as for the middle linebackers, Mosley's definitely going to be coming back. Maybe you have Harvey Lange in the mix there as well. You could potentially bring back Neville Hewitt. I don't think it's going to cost you a whole lot to bring him back. Blake Cashman, I was never really high on that draft pick to begin with, and he's constantly hurt. He was constantly hurt in college, so I don't think he's a long-term answer. I don't really want the Jets to use a premium draft pick on inside linebacker just because they have so many other needs on this team. It's not a high impact position, and you have CJ Mosley anyway. And in free agency, I don't expect them to spend big money. I just don't think that's Joe Douglas's philosophy at this point. So I think they'll roll with essentially what they have, and it'll be mostly CJ Mosley playing at inside linebacker and either Neville Hewitt or Harvey Lange or Blake Cashman as the second linebacker. So we'll see. Or maybe they add someone in the late rounds, but I'm not super sold on that either. Let's go to Roger up next in Comac, who has some Raiders reaction.
Matt, it's Roger from Comac calling. Got a couple thoughts after this Raiders Jets game just happened, and I want to know what you think, and if you're going along with it now. I said before, Gase is not a very good judge of talent, and I think it was not any more apparent than it was on Sunday when you see Ty Johnson, Josh Adams going out there and blowing up the Raiders, just gashing them for yards after yards. It tells you. He was putting out Frank Gore as if Frank Gore was some kind of a security blanket, and he couldn't bust through the holes like these guys were doing. So it just goes to show you, Gase actually had some talent. He could have won a couple more games if he was a competent coach and he was capable of catching seeing that talent on that team. Other point I want to make is that he does not know how to use his weapons. Given that game plan from yesterday, you see Sam Darnold. He's able to operate in a competent offense when you give him a strong running game, right? So he's able to succeed. That's similar to what Tannehill's experiencing when he's in Tennessee. You got to limit his throws, and you got to give him a strong running game and protect him like crazy, and you will see Sam Darnold succeed. Now, that being said, I was on the fence about it. I thought you could still win with Sam Darnold, and I still feel that way. But I think we're at a point now where, if you get the first pick in the draft, you got to take Lawrence. I'm finally over that edge. I
you
finally
have to.
decided that's it. We can't stick with Sam anymore, both for his future and for the future of this team. You can't stick with Sam. Other thing I also want to note is, Gates, just going back to that, he showed us again he's not a very good, not a very competent head coach. And nothing is more glaring than the fact that he did not veto that all-out blitz at the end of the game. I mean, any competent coach would have said, wait a second, what are we doing? We got to stop these guys. Let's go, let's play prevent, hang out there in the end zone, and let's just bat down some ball. No, he didn't do that. He let Williams do whatever he wanted, called out that all-out blitz, and they paid the price for it.
Mm-hmm.
So Gates has got to go. That's just the bottom line. But one good thing about it is that you got a blueprint for how to win with this team, and the next head coach should take that into account, given that he's probably not going to have the talent that he's going to need to make it to a Super Bowl. But if you follow this blueprint where you're going run heavy, you're limiting throws, you're going to actually win, whether it be with Trevor Lawrence or it be with Sam Darnold or whoever.
Yeah, I mean, I do think that for the Jets in the future, they are going to have to utilize they do have a little bit of talent, but here's what they're going to have to do to get the most out of it. They're going to have to get Denzel Mims more involved. He needs more targets than what he got this past week. He's too good. They're going to need to get Chris Herndon back involved. I know he's had a really bad year. I understand that, but the raw talent that he has is intriguing enough to get him back involved. Mekhi Becton on the left side. Why they refused up until this past week to run to his left side is mind-numbing. But there are some intriguing pieces on this team, and you can get a lot out of these guys. And Quinnen Williams on the other side of the ball, that's another great building block to talk about. He's been really good and getting really and better each week. And I'll be the first to admit that I've been wrong about him so far. I thought he had an up and down rookie year. I thought as a number 3 overall pick, we should be getting more out of him. He's come into his second year and took a massive leap. He's a top 10 defensive tackle in the sport right now, and he has the potential to be a top 5 defensive tackle, which is intriguing. Just get him some edge help, please. Please get him edge help. So I'm definitely with you on that. Thank you so much for checking in, Roger. I agree with what a lot you were saying. Let's go to Will from Orlando, who wants to talk about his reaction to the Williams firing.
Hi, I'm Will. I'm 13 years old from Orlando. And my question is, what do you think on the firing of Gregg Williams, and who do you think we can hire at the position? Maybe a guy like Dan Quinn, something like that. And then for the second pick in the first round, do we go edge rusher, receiver, or lineman? Thank you.
Absolutely. And thank you for checking in, Will. I'm not super surprised with the Williams firing because it's coming eventually. It doesn't really bother me one way or the other. I do like Dan Quinn a lot. Who else did I mention before? Richard or Wade Phillips. Those are some guys who could potentially get a look. Last night on the Jets Talk 24/7 stream, Ryan brought up a couple of intriguing names. Aaron Glenn, former Jet, who is working, I believe, as either a cornerback coach or a secondary coach with the Saints, and Jim Leonard, who's a defensive coordinator at, I believe, Wisconsin. Don't quote me at that, but he's a defensive coordinator at the college level, and I always like Jim Leonard. So maybe Jim Leonard, that'd be cool. And as far for the second part of the question, I think that I would either go interior offensive line or edge in that spot with the second pick. That would be my play. Next up, let's go to Brandon in Georgia. Wants to talk Justin Fields and a run-first offense.
What's up, Matt? Brandon from Georgia. Calling after the Raiders game, was not what I was personally hoping for. I was hoping we would get at least one win with Darnold's trade value going up.
Okay.
But Gregg Williams did get fired, so we're going to have to hire a new defensive coordinator. So who do you think would be great there? And I'm not exactly ready to say Darnold's gone. I mean, I could say it in my head, but I'm not ready to say it out loud. Love the kid. His toughness is amazing. But what I really like is Justin Fields' mobility. Looking at what Lamar Jackson has done in this league from his legs. RG3's rookie year was great, but injuries played a factor in that.
Definitely.
Anyway, I think if we got Justin Fields in here with maybe like a run and shoot, I guess, offense, or like a run first offense, I think it would be great. Honestly, I think Ty Johnson after the last game, or LaMichael Pirine in the backfield with them, running the read option would be awesome. Love the show. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for checking in, Brandon. We talked a lot about the defensive coordinator. Quinn's definitely high up on my list for guys. As far as Justin Fields, and I feel you on Sam Darnold, it sucks to have to give up on him. I get it, but I think it's time, man. And as far as Justin Fields goes, if you get the second pick, I think that's the play. I'm not saying you take him over Trevor Lawrence. I think that would be a mistake, but I do like what Justin Fields brings to the table here. He's a tough runner. I think he has a good arm and has a good deep ball. And I am intrigued by his skill set. I think he's going to have to throw a little bit more than Lamar has. Lamar threw last year, but this year, and I know that they just beat the Cowboys and he played well, but I'd like to see him throw the ball a little bit more, and I'd hope that Justin Fields would throw the ball more than what Lamar has. But I like him as a prospect. I think he's going to be good in this league. And whoever's picking second, I think it's going to be Jacksonville. We'll be very happy with the Justin Fields selection there at number 2. So thanks for checking in. We're going to move to Mike, who wants to talk about Gregg Williams and the locker room.
Hey, Matt. It's Mike. What a Sunday. That was insane. I just want to talk about Gregg Williams and the locker room for the Jets. It seems like there was division between the Gregg Williams fired. You saw Marcus May call out Gregg Williams. He said that he needs to put the team in a better situation 4 times. He said that in the interview. And then you see Quinn Williams post like the facepalm emoji with Twitter with the reaction. It seems like the locker room's pretty divided. And those are probably our 2 best defensive players.
Right.
And then you see the Alex Lewis situation. It just makes you wonder if things are being quieted in the locker room, if there's more going on than we know. And it really makes you wonder how bad of a coach Gase is when you see everything that's going on. So I still don't understand why Gase is scapegoating Gregg Williams when he's been put in terrible situations all season. I know he's made a terrible call, but how does Gase get the benefit out of this? He's been the worst coach in football. I don't understand, but let me know what you think about division, the locker room, and Gregg Williams, and go Jets.
Yeah, just we talked a lot about Greg, but what I wanted to do with this one is talk about the division in the locker room. I think that Gregg Williams and his personality doesn't work for everyone, but it does work for a lot of people. And I think the defensive line really likes him. Quinnen seemed to like him. Foley seemed to like him. JFM seemed to like him. But I think the secondary, who at times are hung out to dry because they blitz like crazy, I don't think they appreciate it. And I completely get where Marcus May was coming from. And he was sticking up for his guy in Lamar Jackson. So I actually like that. He did that. But Gase shouldn't get the benefit of the doubt. He shouldn't, but he's going to ride it out for the next 4 games, and we'll see. Next up, we're going to go, and thank you, Mike, for checking in, by the way. Next up, we're going to Josh and Woodmere. He's nervous about a Gase return, but don't worry. I'll talk him off the ledge.
Hi, Matt. It's Josh and Woodmere. I'm really scared about Adam Gase coming back because everyone was like, why isn't Adam Gase fired? Why isn't Adam Gase fired? And everyone said, oh, because the Jets want to lose. Adam Gase doesn't give them a good chance of winning, so they want to lose, so Joe Douglas is keeping him. If that's the case, then why did Gregg Williams get fired? I really think Douglas wants to win. I don't think the tank's legit, and I don't know if Douglas loves Gase, but there is a friendship there, and Douglas is a loyal guy, and Gase did bring him in. You know, McCagnon brought Gase in. Gase stabbed him right in the back, but Douglas, I don't think would do something like that. I don't know. I'm really nervous about this, and I'm also a little bit scared that we might not get the first pick, and if we do get the first pick, that we might stick with Sam, because if that's what Douglas wants to do, and Gase, I mean, I don't know. Why would Gregg Williams get fired and not Gase? Please just explain that to me. I'd love to know why. But great loss, great way to keep the tank going, and hopefully Gase is gone, Darnold's gone, and we get Lawrence. But so I know what you think about that situation. Thank you, love the show, and go Jaguars.
Go Jags, baby. So okay, here's the deal. I'm gonna give you a number, or a year rather. 1976. That was the last time the New York Jets fired a head coach in the middle of the season. That's a long, long time ago. The Johnson family, yes, they fired a bunch of head coaches. There's no denying that. But they have never once did it in season. They did it. Same thing. They could have moved on from Rex during a terrible 2014 year. They could have moved on from Todd Bowles in a terrible, I need to pick one, 2016, 17, 18 season. They'll decide to move on from him on Monday, January 4th, after the Jets lose to the New England Patriots to clinch the first overall pick, and after they are 0-16. And the players and the coaches are not tanking. They want to win. But it's not as simple as Gregg is the scapegoat and Gase gets another shot, because it's only a 4-game difference. That's it. That's the only thing that they saved Gregg Williams 4 games. That's it. So I'm really not concerned. I'm not. It's the end. We got 4 games left of this. We're all in it together. Don't worry, Josh. It's gonna be all right. Next up, we're gonna go to Vinny in Connecticut, who wants to talk about Bill Cowher.
Hey, Matt, it's Vinny in Connecticut calling in. You're probably getting a ton of calls on this, but I want to talk about what Boomer Esiason leaked out today in the media with Bill Cowher being possibly interested in coaching the New York Jets. And I got to tell you, it's very intriguing. I mean, I think if you bring in a personality in here like Bill Cowher, it just brings instant credibility to the franchise. It would make, free agents want to come and play, not just for the Jets, but Bill Cowher, and just bring the type of presence that would command the respect of a locker room. I mean, wow, it would be just such an exciting time to be a fan. It just reminds me of 1997 when Parcells came here right after the Rich Kotite era. It just cleaned that whole mess up. I mean, he even mentioned, it's great to know that he really likes Joe Douglas, and I don't know if this helps at all, but his wife is a diehard Jets fan. He already lives in New York. I mean, the fit almost seems too perfect. I'd love to hear what you think about it, but we'll see what happens. Let's see how it goes. Go Jets.
Yeah, I'm not opposed to the idea. My thing is, I don't know how legit it is. I think he has a pretty good gig over at CBS. If the wife clears him, sure, let's do it. Is it my number one choice? I don't know if it's my number one, but I would be happy with it for sure. Riley from Utah up next wants to talk Quinnen Williams.
Hey, Matt. It's Riley from Ogden, Utah. And
Utah,
now I'm celebrating the Gregg Williams sacrifice to the tank. I'm a positive-looking Jets fan. I always look for the positive side of that, so I'm going to take it.
Love that.
So Gregg Williams, thank you. Thank you for your sacrifice. My question is, what do you think Quinnen Williams could turn into with some type of help on the edge, any real edge threat, say Bud Dupree, Matt Judon, even a draft pick. Like, just what do you think he could turn into if he could get anywhere near like Aaron Donald or Chris Jones, if that's realistic at all? I don't know. I'm optimistic for that, but I want to know what you think. Thanks. Go Jets.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that Quinnen is looking like a Pro Bowler right now, a top 10 defensive tackle right now, but how to get him higher, he definitely needs help on the edge. Has to. I think you do both. I think you draft one and sign one. You have a ton of ton of cap room. Not a lot of teams have cap room in this COVID world, so take advantage. Go out there and spend, because there's not a lot of teams who are going to be able to match what you'll be able to pay, and they're not going to be able to retain the guys that they might want to retain. So some good guys are going to hit the market. I can guarantee you that. That's my main thing, man. Can he get up to Donald level? I don't think he can get that high, but I think he's someone who can give you maybe like 8 sacks. Maybe a couple of times he'll get to double digits, but I think like right around 8 sacks, a bunch of tackles, a lot of tackles for a loss. He's been great in the run game, and he was good in the run game last year, but I thought he was inconsistent as a pass rusher. He has stepped up as a pass rusher big time, and there's a lot of reason to be excited about him. He has been very, very good. George is up next, wants to talk Gase. Let's hear from him.
Hey, Matt, this is George from Northport. Awesome show. I'm nervous that Adam Gase might come back. I keep hearing these radio stations that after the recent Gregg Williams firing, he still has a lot of power and a lot of say in that organization. Please tell me that he's not coming back, please. Awesome show, Matt. Keep up the good work. Love listening. And go Jets.
Thank you, George. Listen, I'm going to tell you right now, there's no reason to be nervous. January 4th, Monday, after a 24-10 loss to the Patriots, Adam Gase will be gone. Don't worry. I know he still made the decision to move on from Gregg Williams, technically, but the locker room made that decision. Last up is Eric from Long Island. If I was unable to get to your call, I apologize. We had a ton of calls to get through. Did the best that I could, but let's finish off with some final Bill Cowher thoughts.
Hey, Matt, it's Eric calling from Long Island. Epic loss Sunday. Don't think it was on purpose. Just think it had to do with Gregg Williams' enlarged ego. But thank God they lost that game. I mean, that was terrifying because I could be wrong, but like I told you, I'm studying to be a scout. And from everything I see, the difference between Trevor Lawrence and all these other quarterbacks is night and day. Like, I feel like even the Jets can't foul this up.
Agree.
So I'm hearing rumors about Bill Cowher coaching the Jets, and I have mixed feelings about it, to be honest with you. I want to see what you think, but the whole smash mouth style of football, Rex Ryan and defense and running the ball down someone's throat, it wins games, yes, but very rarely, unless you're the Baltimore Ravens, does it win a Super Bowl. I mean, maybe back in the day with the '85 Bears and all that, but it doesn't get the job done. And what my point is, if we're going to take a quarterback at number 1, like Trevor Lawrence, I'm all for Bill Cowher coaching the team, but I hope he can, adjust to the way the NFL is now. I mean, Dick Vermeil did. He made the comeback, but we take a quarterback that high, I want to be throwing the ball 30, 35 times a game. You don't take a quarterback number 1 to be a game manager. I want to see offense, something that we've never really seen. I mean, the best quarterback I guess I've seen in my time as a Jets fan was 1 year out of Vinny Testaverde, and other than that, it's just been bad.
2015 Fitzpatrick.
Yeah, I'm just hoping that he can adjust to the way the NFL is now. Because you look at the Chiefs, Seahawks, all these teams, they're slinging the ball 40 times a game, and to me that's how you win now. Want to know what you think about that? And if Cowher doesn't coach the Jets, my other suggestion is Rob Salah, you heard that here first. 49ers defensive coordinator.
Robert Saleh.
He will be a good head coach. All these other guys, I don't know, but I know Rob Salah will be a very good head coach. Thank you. I'd like to know what you think.
I think Saleh will be a good head coach in this league somewhere. I don't think it's going to be with the Jets. I think maybe Jacksonville or Denver or Detroit might be an option for him. For the Jets, I like my still top choices are Brady, Matt Campbell, PJ Fleck, guys like that. But Arthur Smith, last one. But also, as to just some final thoughts on Cowher, he 100% has to adapt to 2020 NFL to survive. They can't throw the ball 18 times a game like what they were doing with Big Ben in 2004. You're not gonna win that way in today's league. So he would have to adjust. But Trevor Lawrence is a talented prospect. Having the number 1 overall pick is enticing. Having a ton of cap space is enticing, and having the Jets general manager be Joe Douglas is enticing. So the Jets are not as much of a dumpster fire as one might think. It's bad right now, but long term, doesn't have to be. That's going to do it for me on this episode of Just Jets. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Matt O'Leary, and I'll talk to you next time.